We have this incredible article from Time magazine that brags about a cabal intent on stopping Donald Trump. Keep in mind, this is the same Time magazine that recently called out Helen Keller for having too much white privilege. Yeah, the amazing woman who learned to read and write and even teach, despite having no hearing or sight, and was a tireless advocate for the disabled, she was attacked by Time magazine for having too much white privilege. This is despite the fact that she was a strong supporter of the NAACP, a founding member of the ACLU. She's still not woke enough for Time? The point is that Time magazine felt comfortable enough with the cabal's success in fixing the election that they're already bragging about it. They must be awfully comfortable that the far left can suppress any opposing thought. And here's how they plan to do it. House Resolution 1. This legislation is designed to take permanent and formal control of the voting process. Once in place, the law will cement the radical voting changes that the Time article documents. It will go even further, stripping control from the states and putting it under national authority, clearly in defiance of the intent of our founders as well as the expressed will of the Constitution. But before we dive into H.R. 1, let's take a look at what the Constitution says is supposed to happen, reading from Article 2, Section 1, Clauses 2 and 3, which say, "Each state shall appoint in manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress, but no senator, representative, or person holding an office or trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. The Congress may determine the time and choosing of the electors and the day in which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States." Let me parse that a bit. According to the Constitution, the states appoint the electors to the Electoral College in the manner which they choose, 100% directed by the state legislature, not the governor, not unelected election officials, not the Secretary of State, and not a cabal. Why? Because the state legislature is made up of the representatives who are closest to the people. The founders understood that you could have personal relationships with your legislator, but you might never meet the governor, the Secretary of State, and the unelected election officials don't work for the people directly, but the legislators do. The founders very wisely decided that each state should have their own manner of appointing electors, and it doesn't have to be the same manner in Kansas as it is in California. Every state has their own manner. That's what scares the far-left cabal so much. That's why they took control, to keep power. They have to herd cats in 50 different states, and the Democrats are losing ground in state legislatures where the power is supposed to rest. There are 50 states, and each state has a House and a Senate. That means there are 100 chambers of state legislators in this country. Before the 2020 election, Democrats controlled 39 chambers and Republicans controlled 59, with one chamber basically split. After the election, Democrats lost 2 chambers, leaving Republicans with 60, compared to just 37 for Democrats and 1 that split. No wonder the far left is scared. If they leave things up to the Constitution and the people, they're going to lose. That's where they're pushing H.R. 1 now, while they control the Congress and the White House. The far left has to find a way to disenfranchise the state legislators. And remember, the legislators in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia all stood up after the 2020 election, complaining that this was not their will that was followed. So they sent in alternative electors because they felt the reported election results were not a valid representation of the will of the people in the state.